Hi everyone, and welcome to 164 Diecast. My cat Molly asked if she could drive the 164, and I said, why not? So here she is in her first ever drive. In this video, we're looking at the Hot Wheels two-car collector set called Classic Custom Trucks Magazine Set 2. The Mattel product number for this set is 54199. As the name implies, this is the second of two sets in the Custom Classic Trucks Magazine series. The first set consists of a 1959 Chevrolet El Camino and a 1959 Chevy Apache pickup. This set showcases two classic Fords, a white and red 32 Ford pickup, and a red over black 57 Ford Ranchero. Both sets 1 and 2 were released in 2002. This particular set was a collaboration with Petersen's Custom Classic Trucks magazine and focuses on two legendary Ford models customized for the show circuit. The 1932 Ford Model A pickup is a heavy metal style hot rod truck. These trucks were often finished in a deep gloss paint, typically black or dark burgundy, with a detailed chrome exposed engine and a customized bed. The 1957 Ford Ranchero is a classic car truck hybrid with a lowered custom stance, known for its clean lines, authentic period correct paint schemes, and chrome trim that highlights the 57 Ford's iconic styling. Both of these trucks are icons in the custom automotive world, but they represent two very different eras of Ford history. Interestingly, while the Hot Wheels set calls it a 1932 Model A, technical enthusiasts often point out that the 1931 model was actually the final year for the Model A, and 1932 ushered in the famous Model B and Model 18. The 1932 Ford, often referred to as the Deuce, is the ultimate blank canvas for hot rodders. Because it was the first year Ford introduced the flathead V8, it became the holy grail for builders looking for speed and style. While the four-cylinder was still available in the Model B, the 1932 Model 18 featured the first low-priced mass-market V8. This engine is legendary in the custom world for its thrumming sound and easy-to-modify nature. Unlike the boxier Model A from 1928 to 1931, the 32 had a more graceful, flowing look with a curved grille and a fuel tank moved from the cowl to the rear. In the real world, you rarely see a 32 Ford pickup in stock form anymore. They are typically channeled, dropping the body over the frame, chopped, lowering the roofline, and stripped of their fenders to create the classic high boy look seen in the Hot Wheels set. The 1957 Ranchero was a revolutionary hybrid vehicle. It was marketed with the famous slogan, "More than a car, more than a truck." While new to Americans in 1957, the design was inspired by the Australian utility vehicles, or utes, that Ford had been building since 1934. Unlike traditional trucks like the F-100, the Ranchero was built on a short wheelbase station wagon chassis from the Ford Courier. This meant it drove with the smoothness of a sedan, but had an open, reinforced bed for cargo. It featured the cowbelly frame, which allowed it to sit much lower than previous Fords. In 1957, you could even order it with the high-performance 312 cubic inch Thunderbird Special V8, making it a sleeper muscle truck. Because it shares the front end of the 1957 Ford Fairlane, it's a favorite for custom builders who add two-tone paint, lowered suspensions, and plenty of chrome to lean into that 1950s space-age aesthetic. You can read more about the cars of this set at This early Mattel Hot Wheels collector set from 2002 is a look at two cars known for their adaptability to customization. Cars that are sought after by car customizers and collectors alike. In a future video that will feature set 1, we will look at two Chevys that carry that same desirability by collectors. I hope you enjoyed this review of these two beautiful die-cast vehicles. And, as always, thank you for stopping by 164 Diecast. And we will see you on the next video.